Hey there, everybody. Today is October 13th. It's our 5th wedding anniversary. And yeah, things are good. We got a new microphone. That's the little light over there. Hopefully, this will take care of some of those issues that we've been having with sound and the fact that sometimes I can't control the volume of my voice. But we're hoping that this makes it a little bit easier to hear some of the things that I'm saying. I hope that it makes the videos a little bit more tolerable to watch and to try and gain information from. But yeah, it was a nice little break. Let's talk about plants and gardens and stuff. The maples are dropping all of their leaves. This has been a pattern on our site for several years now, where it's the maples that drop first. You can see this guy right here is starting to look a little bare. And the oaks are starting to turn as well. We get these leaf fall in stages, so it's generally the maples that go first, and then the oaks, and then later the birches, and then finally the beeches. And we're using these times during this season to map out our sun access for next season. The way that I am managing this is that we count out how many days we are from the equinox, and you can kind of measure out where the sun angle is and get an idea of how many days prior to the equinox that sun axis that you change or that you create is going to appear next season. Another one of the projects we've been doing is taking down some of the dead standing. This is a small one. There have been some bigger ones too. I'll show you some of those in a moment. But these are sometimes dangerous or very much in the way. They are not really large enough to support colonies of some of the insects that we leave up other dead stands for. And so this is kind of either free pole wood, or it is additional resources for the fireplace, which cuts our fossil fuel usage and allows us to heat our home for less expensive outlays than we would otherwise have. There have been a few beech branches removed from some of the trees as we've been working in the spaces up top, and the gardens to our left here on the Beaver Dam analog berms are settling in. I'm considering coming in with a pickaxe to just chop out a little bit and bring that forward, but with leaf fall occurring and the amount of wood chip that our neighbor left for us on the parcel behind us, my consideration is I may have enough woody material and leaf litter to justify bringing the leaves down and mulching fairly thoroughly along each of the spaces as we go up, and then laying down enough wood chip to even it out. And then when the beeches finally finish dropping their leaves, I will have yet more mineralized leaf material to bring on top of those wood chip piles and kind of re-signify where the beds are once the area has been chipped. Let's take a look at another spot that I've been working on. We're only a few dozen feet from where we just were, and at the base of this portion of the hillside, we do still have the intentions of using these stair treads, but as I was mapping out where I wanted to put them, I realized that I had a want for the space up here to be more usable. And so we have the woody debris wall. You can see it pinned up against these trees that are not staying for the long term. I haven't decided about this particular white pine yet that you see in the middle of this space. The rock on the furthest right of your screen was here prior to me moving dirt, and so I did excavate, but I like how it lays, and I'd like to just have a continuation of the rock line. I'm still in the process of getting one more over here, and then we will probably fill to about this line here, taper it down over this side. You want to have 50%ish of your stone buried in, and that should cause the rock wall to kind of solidify in its place. And we'll be running, I think, some of the succulents that I have in these little crevices, because I think that will be neat, and it will help to normalize the relationship between the soil that is behind the rocks and the soil that is in front of the rocks, and should make the space feel more pleasant as we build into it. We do still have a number of plants that have not been ordered, so it's looking like I may have more material to play with than I thought, but there is still plenty in case you folks wanted to grab anything from us. In here, at the wall, I've been dumping some of the bagged soil, but also you'll notice some spaces in here that have kind of advantageous, weedy, first come, first serve type species, and all of the potted materials that we didn't succeed with but had volunteers that were more successful than the intentional plants have all been overturned. And what I would do is kind of pull their plant stalks through so that the root mass is kind of in there, and it will slowly decay, feed whatever we're going to plant in here. And then I came in and have been stuffing leaf litter from the forest floor into the other gaps as well. Is it perfect? No. Do I think that the rainstorm that is coming is going to shed light on spaces that I need to shore up? Yes. Do I think that this, like other gardens that we've made, is going to be a longer term grow out than some might suspect? Also yes. But it's nearly level. I have to shore up the side here so that it can come up another 2 inches or so. And then we'll backfill this with more compost, wood chips, and the leaves as they fall. And then my plan is a few bushes, some Apios americana, the groundnut, for a vining layer that should be able to take care of some of the nitrogen needs in this soil, but also should cause some vining to take advantage of the afternoon sun here. And my hope is that we'll have Apios running through and pulling this all together even more. It's not the strongest of vines, but I think that this space might have a little bit too much of a cold movement holding capacity to really succeed with a hardy kiwi or something like that. Hops is potential, and we did also get a whole bunch of grapes from our neighbor in exchange for some other plant materials that we've been giving them, and just general neighborliness. So we have 6 or 8 rooted Concord grape vines, and I'm am undecided as to where and how I'd like to place them. But I think certain spaces like a, a rail or a series of vines here might be cute and neat. Or do I do something where I plant grapevines at the bases of some of these arches that I've built out from bending trees and let that kind of come up and do that? What do you guys think? Interested to hear your thoughts. They very often help me to crystallize some of my own, so your feedback is always appreciated. You can see one of our mushroom log layers. We have some bodies fruiting on it, but the one that has been here longer, over on this side, is fruiting considerably after these past couple of rains. And there are a number that are coming in. We harvested a few weeks ago from these, and we've had significant regrowth on all of these birch polypores, which are a traditional medicinal, high in B vitamins type of mushroom. Generally, you would dry it, then grind it, and then steep it, and then drink it. So maybe we'll show some of that soon. I have one more thing I'd like to show you guys, and yeah, we'll wrap this up. So the last thing I wanted to show you was some of these stones that we've been doing. This is Sambucus nigra, the black elder. This is black lace. And so I've been taking some of these stones. I'm finding that the tan ones, or ones with high iron content, seem to provide the most contrast and relief, so that it's more legible. You can see a few places where the neighbors' dogs have recently been playing ball. Part of that is my fault for being so exciting to be around. And yeah, so the consideration for these stones, we have a whole bunch of them coming from the soil pile that I've been working for the past few years. And we're thinking that, one plant of any particular type will get a rock. For ones where, say, if I were to do another black lace elder somewhere, unless it was in a polyculture or a grouping, I might not give it another one. But we're moving forward on some kind of permanent markers for the plants that we are working with. I think this particular branch here, the segments on it in between the growth nodes are a little short for me to want to take this branch as cuttings. I'd have to give up on some of the growth nodes and potential for new plants, but because it is growing parallel to the ground, it would be next to nothing for me to pin it, mulch it, and come back to that particular branch next year, where some of these other stems are suitable for taking cuttings. So these are some of my thoughts. I just want to say real quick, consider taking breaks for yourself. It can be really healthy. Those landscape stairs over back where we were is a big project, but sometimes pausing on a project, knowing what you want to do. Hi, Ginger. Sometimes pausing on a project will give you clarity on the best way to proceed, and honestly, if your design is not changing over the course of you implementing it on your landscape, I'm not totally sure that your plan is perfect, because that seems more like imposing the will of the person on the landscape as opposed to taking feedback and integrating with the landscape. So, yeah, take breaks, refresh your brain. enjoy your time doing the things that you're doing. And if an idea pops into your head while you're mid-project, decide if it's worth pausing that mid-project and pursuing the idea such that that seems a good time to implement it. So I'm gonna go. I have a little bit more firewood to chop, and some cleaning to do to make the homecoming much nicer. And so, yeah, we're gonna say goodbye to the neighbors' pups, who love our space and love shouting at us in it, and we love them back. This is Ginger. Ginger's a good girl. So yeah, I hope you're all well. Till next time, thanks for watching. Happy planting.